GM. Welcome, episode 3 of the GM Show. All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Casey. I'm your co-host of the GM Show. Hello, Karen. Good morning.
You need to unmute the Twitter.
3, 2, 1,
GM, can you hear me now? Still getting the hang of this technical stuff. GM, my name is Casey. Good morning, Karen.
Good morning, guys. I'm Karen.
All right. Welcome to the third episode of the GM Show. We're very excited to have you back for another episode. Today is a very, very special episode. Karen, why don't you explain to the audience first off, what is the GM Show for all the new people coming in?
Of course. We posted like the ABC again. So I'm going to tell you guys again. It's the ABC of the GM Show is Asia focused, is builder friendly, and cool vibes only. So it's not just about a Memeland show, but a Web3 show bringing Asia to the world. And I want to make sure that you guys are on our Memeland Twitter, on our GM Show official Twitter. If you have any questions, go on Discord, leave us a comment on Twitter and all that stuff. So give us a follow.
Yep. Today, the agenda is we'll be doing an interview with Luca Netz from Pudgy Penguins with special guest Ray Chan from Memeland. We'll be doing some insight onto advice for building in Web3, and we'll be ending it all off with a little meditation for what hopefully will be a new bowl.
Meditation?
I know, it's crazy. So before we begin, let's introduce our first guest. The Memeland captain himself. The digital potato salesman, the king of the cha-cha tens, and your pusher of memes across all of time and space, Ray Chan.
Ooh. GM.
Ray, welcome back to the show. We missed you last week.
No, I think I was here. I was there. Yeah, I just didn't speak.
Okay.
I think our audience doesn't have to listen to me every single time.
Well, we're lovely to see you. We need you on the show.
Yes, we'd love to see you. But I think the reason why we're bringing you on first is that there was a big news yesterday on the internet or on social networks. CZ, the CEO of Binance, tweeted out a CCTV news from China. And his tweet read, CCTV just broadcasted crypto. It's a big deal. The Chinese-speaking communities are buzzing. Historically, coverages like these led to bull runs. Not saying past predicts the future and not financial advice. That news clip is in Mandarin and circulating everywhere. And since Memeland and the GM Show are based in Hong Kong, I thought we'd bring on Ray to kind of translate what that all means for everybody that was seeing this today.
Yeah, sure. By the way, CCTV is not closed circuit television. It's the China Central Television for people who don't know what we are talking about. Right? I think it's definitely a big news because somehow, as everyone knows, not everyone, but most people know, China right now is still banning crypto, right? But starting from I think maybe like 6 months ago, the situation in Hong Kong has kind of changed because the government started to say that okay, we are gonna regulate crypto. Right, because as we all know, regulating something that means you recognize its existence, right? Instead of okay, this never happens, right? So I think this is huge, yeah. But somehow the consultations has been going for some time. I've joined some dinners with some government official, right? And the thing is, the direction is to make Hong Kong the Web3 hub of China, the Web3 hub of Asia, the Web3 hub of the world. So I think that's definitely bullish news. The only thing is, I think as the news mentioned, right, it's more about okay, this is like we are regulating crypto. We allow licensed exchange to sell and buy crypto, right? And it's mainly about the big cap crypto, right? So I feel like a lot of people, they only read the headlines and then feel that, okay, this is like kickstarting the bull run and stuff. I mean, it's definitely a positive sign, but I think that just like anything that Hong Kong government does, right, it's usually pretty slow. It's usually pretty conservative because at the end of the day, Hong Kong is one of the top financial hub, and allowing crypto is a big news. So probably they will take it kind of like slowly, right? One interesting thing that we have to understand is in the upcoming license exchanges, there's no stable coins. Yeah. So basically, you are like kind of going back to like 4 years, 5 years ago, before USDT, before USDC were a thing. So I think that part is has shown that people's impression of the news and what's actually happening in Hong Kong, there's a big gap. So I feel like for us as a company based in Hong Kong, I think we can share a more, I would say, objective feeling, right? And to be honest, I still feel very bullish about the news. It's just that we have to understand that things takes time to build. Yeah, not to mention such a big news in such a, I would say, very developed financial center.
Yeah, I think the finance side is very interesting, but I think more interesting, and especially to this show, is the builder side of it. I see a lot of people who maybe have moved to Singapore or Dubai are looking to come back to Hong Kong. Even people from China are looking to come out and maybe move to Hong Kong as well to start building their startups in Web3. So I think that is the biggest sign of the future may hold. So maybe we'll see exciting new projects from around the world move to Hong Kong. I mean, a lot of startups have moved in the past from Web2. So seeing this kind of excitement from the government is pretty exciting. And I don't know, our mutual friend Yatsu is in Doha right now at the Qatar some kind of economic summit run by Bloomberg, and he was saying that for the first time the U.S. may be behind the curve in what's going to happen in Hong Kong. Asia is going to have a lead, so that's why we're very excited about all that.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, and I think one of the comments right under CZ's tweet is kind of interesting. It says that it's written in simplified Chinese, yeah, but it means China may not start the bull run. Yeah, but there's no bull run without China, right? So I feel like that's the pretty objective sentiment that I feel. And honestly, I feel like on NFT, on crypto, on the whole Web3 in general, right? Asia is definitely the big thing, or the next big thing, if not the current big thing, right? So that's why we started this show to provide a more, I would say, native perspective, right? Instead of, okay, as a Westerner looking back in Asia, right? But for us, it's more about bringing Asia to the world. So I feel like we kind of like started at a good time, yeah, so that people started to pay more attention to GM show, to Memeland, right, to Asia. Yeah, this is a pretty good time to build.
Yeah, it's just all started. It's only the beginning.
Only the beginning, exactly. All right, let's move on into the core topic here. We're talking about pudgy penguins this episode, and we're very excited to have Luca on. But first, some people listening may not know what pudgy penguins is. So I'm bringing up a longtime holder of pudgy penguins. Lewin, come on up. All right. Hi, Lewin, how are you?
Hi, I'm really good. Thank you so much for having me on today.
You're a penguin. You're a pudgy penguin.
I certainly am.
All right. So you've built communities around pudgy penguins, like the Pudgylicious group. It's a bunch of penguin foodies. You built up the Pengu Princesses, a group to empower female penguin holders. You're from Vancouver, and you're going to help me color a little bit the pudgy penguin timeline for all the listeners out there today. When did you actually get into the pudgy penguins community?
So I got in, I was looking at them probably at the very beginning of August, and then I decided to purchase later in August my first pudgy penguin, which is the one that I'm using right now as my hologram.
That's
so
cool.
Cute.
Thank you.
All right, so this is all what I've kind of researched on the internet. I did use ChatGPT to write something, but it was totally lame and wrong. So I'm gonna that's why I was looking for you to come up and come and join us and kind of clarify that, make sure this is correct. Okay, so Pudgy Penguins launched in July 22nd, 2021. There were 8,888 of them. They sold out in 19 minutes with a mint price of 0.03 ETH. Is that correct?
That's correct. That's pretty incredible.
I get a point for my own research, right?
Ding, 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 ding.
Some other research as well, looking at it by early 2022. So I think January, there was about 45,000 ETH in sales on OpenSea of the project. And I think a little bit it was attributed to a 2021 August New York Times article by Kevin Roos, who joined the Pudgy Penguins and wrote a great piece for the New York Times that I think was very viral. A lot of people who didn't know what joining an NFT community was like. And he wrote, "To the uninitiated, Pudgy Penguins may seem fundamentally pointless in some ways. They are, but I wouldn't bet against them for the same reason I wouldn't bet against the continued appeal of blue check marks on Twitter or OG Instagram usernames. Humans are status-seeking creatures, always looking for new ways to elevate ourselves above the pack." What did you think when you saw that article come out?
I think like for most holders, it was like vindication of sort and like a recognition, and people felt like that's it, we're going to the moon. You know, were recognized. A lot of the holders actually have that article framed into their office.
Wow.
And yeah, and some of the interviewees are actually holders still to this day. And it's kind of cool because I read the article without knowing who the people that were interviewed. And later I found out those are my huddle friends.
Nice.
That's really cool. Yeah.
Okay, but that's great. That was August, but unfortunately in December, the rug gets pulled and the whole thing kind of falls apart. What did the community, think about it at that point?
Well, I wouldn't call it a rug pull because, the founders really are a team of like a bunch of guys that are young, and they were, just inexperienced. So I wouldn't say that it was a rug pull. I would say that they didn't meet expectations, and the community started to be upset and demanded more. And all that has to do with the eggs, around the Christmas hatching,
Right.
and they came out as a rug instead of, the story. So it was a bit of a disappointment,
Yeah.
but I wouldn't call it a rug because
Okay.
Cole, Tubby, and Jonah had good intentions. Yeah.
Okay, great. That's good to hear from you. And only a few months later, in April of last year, this guy, his name is Luca Neds. He comes and drops 750 ETH and buys the collection. What do the community think about that when that happened?
Well, those were really uncertain times in the huddle, and a lot of us were on Discord all day, all night, chatting about this. There was a few contenders. There was Spady from Mintables. There was Vince Van Doe. There was 9x9. But Luca was kind of an interesting character to us, and we were really curious. Lots of us were creeping his Instagram and trying to find more about him. But we didn't have to wait long because he stepped in the chat and started talking to us right away and informed the community of his intention. So we were kind of like really excited in a way that we were going to see some change, but we didn't know how it was going to go.
And then just a final question for you. What do you, as such a long-term holder, and you've been so close to community, building community, what makes Pudgy Penguins such a great community to be part of?
I think it's like the communication and the positivity. People are positive, they're helpful, they elevate each other. And the communication from the team to their holders is just bar none. You're not going to find that anywhere. And all of us are getting kind of like, a crash course on business and a crash course on marketing and a crash course on good ethics and being a good person overall. So that's what I would say is the best part of being a Pudgy Penguin.
Amazing. Thank you, Louie, and thanks for coming on. We really appreciate your time. Now, the big question, who is this Luca Nets guy and why did he buy the collection? We'll ask the man himself after a word from our non-sponsor.
The GM Show is not sponsored by McAfee. Start your good morning with McAfee's coffee. You know what? Perfect for listening to this show. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. I'm also not Steve Carell. I do not endorse this message.
Karen.
Wow. Well, that is not our sponsored. But if you're interested to sponsor the show, we are very creative and we will read your message in a special way, like we just did. So now on to the biggest guest.
The main event. Let's bring him on. All the way from the icy lands of Penguin World, the man bringing Web3 to the masses and beyond. The visionary who dropped $2 million on 8,000 digital penguins. The Trojan horse builder extraordinaire. Please welcome Luca Netz.
Well, Casey, you're pretty good at this, and I expect nothing less from the 9gag and the Memeland team. This is pretty hilarious and entertaining.
CEO versus CEO.
The CEO versus CEO questionnaire interview. But I mean, before we let Ray jump in with some questions, I mean, Karen and I are going to kind of set the stage because there's a ton of questions we have that we want to ask. First up, of course, we're big toy collectors in Asia. We love Hello Kitty. We love Gundam. We love Evangelion. You are now a toy salesman besides a penguin salesman. $500,000 in sales in the first 48 hours on Amazon and Walmart. It's incredible. How does that make you feel? This is just in the last few days.
Yeah, I'm super excited. I think this is a huge moment for Web3 and a huge step forward. I think the time to create characters and products that transcend out of our small little echo chamber, it's imperative for this space to succeed. And I'm excited to tell our story.
For those of you who don't know, Pudgy Penguin just launched a toy line, and we're going to run the commercial just so you can take a look.
My back was starting to hurt.
It's a beautiful day.
Does anyone...
Julie, it's time to go.
All right, Pengers. Coast is clear. My back was starting to hurt.
It's a beautiful day.
Does anyone see my hat? My intro is a mess.
What's that sound?
Just a minute. I need to grab my pudgy.
Back to your places.
Quiet, everyone.
Coast is clear. Nice hat. Did you catch any fish?
How would you know? You only have one.
That is the cutest thing.
Amazing, amazing. I met you actually in person last year at Decentral in Austin. You were on stage talking about this, and 1 year later, you made it happen. It's incredible. I think so my question basically to you now, do you think, you have an e-commerce background. You're not just somebody coming into this NFT world like this. You actually have business that you've done before. Maybe you could talk a little bit about that first. I think a lot of people may not know your little background before you got into Pudgy Penguins.
Yeah, but my 30-second dissertation is I grew up homeless with my mom and my brother for 10 years, high school dropout at 16, got my first job at a tech startup called Ring Doorbell, started my first company at 18, sold that business for quite a bit of money when I was 19, found financial freedom then. That was pretty cool. Started my next company, which was monetizing social influence. And then I helped co-found and become the CMO of a business called Gel Blaster. And that was North America's fastest growing toy business, exposed me to the world of IP and toys. And I went to every Disney conference and every Warner conference. And I realized how uninnovative that business was. And when the opportunity came around to buy Pudgy Penguins, I said, well, everyone's claiming their NFT project as a brand. And I felt like nobody was really building that brand appropriately. And so I said, hey, I'm a big Pudgy holder. I'm complaining consistently about the output. And rather than complaining, how about I just buy the thing and show them how it's done? And so that was about 13 months ago. And it's been an incredible journey, one that I'm grateful and blessed to be a part of. And yeah.
Ray, how did you come across Pudgy Penguins?
I think I think when I first started to buy NFT, I think that was like way after. No, I think it's before Luca acquired Pudgy. Yeah, and then there was a bid war, right, among like a few buyers. Right? I think I was at that time started to pay more attention. Yeah, but by the way, I'm a holder of Pudgy, right? But I only bought it like a few months ago, right? So it's like it's one of my very rare profitable NFT, yeah, in my so-called portfolio. Yeah, so this is like a Luca, you pump my bet. Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
I turn my holders into whales like 9gag does.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you, because I know Ray for a long time and I've seen him excel into Web 2, and you can tell he's like a founder, the way he talks on stage and things like that. So Luca, I felt at that Decentral, I heard a lot of founders talking about their things, but definitely you came across as somebody I felt confident about. I felt like that's somebody I would invest into. I want to know from you, for a lot of the founders who are listening now, do you think it's your own personality that is able to show this kind of confidence level, or do you think it can really come from just pure passion and drive on building this kind of project?
This is an interesting one because, coming into this, I bought it for $2.5 million. And what did people think? That I was going to lose? That I was going to fail? I mean, like, I come from nothing. And so spending $2.5 million, no matter how much money I have, is a ton of money. And if you're going to do that, I mean, you better be confident and you better believe, and so for me, I believe in my ability, and I believe in my vision. I believe what we're doing at Pudgy Penguins is necessary for the space to go forward. And, that's just been my nature. My whole life, people counted me out. My whole life, I was told I couldn't do something. And every step of the way, every job I got, every teacher that I had, they were always betting against me. And so, I'm just a naturally confident person. I think to move forward in life, you have to be confident. My advice to any entrepreneur in the room listening is be confident and believe in yourself. And that seems to be the common denominator between the winners and the losers, right? Is the losers don't believe in themselves and the winners do. And so I just naturally am that person. And thankfully it bodes well in the NFT space. And you know what I found, and I think Ray will appreciate this, but the holders can know if you're confident or not. And that permeates. And if you're not confident, how do you expect people to put their money where their mouth is and support your vision? I have to be the most confident person in my business, and I hope Ray is as well. And Ray probably is the most confident person in his business. And that translates in our success. That translates in where we are today. If you're going to lead an NFT project, you have to lead with confidence. And the second you lack confidence, and there's been moments where the market has beat me down and I've felt sorry for myself. It's just natural. I mean, there's obviously pockets in time where you feel doubtful. And I've noticed that the community also feels that. And so, it's my job to lead by example. I want everyone to champion the Pudgy Penguin brand. And I want them to be just as confident as myself. And so that's kind of the way that I am. And thankfully, it's working pretty well.
Yeah, I think starting with you, I feel like you're like the new type of founder for Web3 NFTs, right? Most people were on docs hiding behind a PFP. You came out, Ray came out, Frank came out. Like a lot of people started showing what they were, and I think people follow that confidence more rather than a JPEG, right? Ray, what do you think about that?
I think it's a cycle. Right? I think when crypto started, right, it's kind of like focusing on anonymous, right? Most teams are on docs, right? But the thing is, when you see more rug pulls, maybe like hard rug or slow rug, then people kind of like lose trust, right? And the funny thing is, although we talk about trustless, permissionless in Web3, but basically, at least in NFT, you need a lot of trust in order to pay thousands of dollars, right, to buy a JPEG, right? So somehow we feel like the atmosphere is changing, the vibe is changing, right? When people demand more responsibility from the team, right? I think showing your face is one of the easiest way. I'm not saying that showing your face doesn't a dogs team will not rug pull, right? I'm just saying that at least people know who they are talking to, right? So I feel like the vibe has changed because the market has also changed.
Yeah. I think there's only about a dozen founders who are like this. You are two of them right here, right now. I'd like to know a little bit about how you're able to manage these communities so well, right? Both of you are on Twitter Spaces, podcasts, live events. Luca, I went to your YouTube channel. You're like all these. You were in Paris blockchain. We were everywhere promoting how, and you, Ray, you're everywhere too. From your chair, you're on every show. I've heard you on everything. So that's how I learned about what you were doing. So talk about a little bit about, both of you would like to hear from Luca first, you know, how much of that Discord, that Telegram, that Twitter is part of your life now, part of your character or part of your brand going forward with your Web3 project?
It's fascinating because my girlfriend hammers me all the time and basically says, like, you're on Twitter 12 hours, you don't pay attention to me. And I'm like, hey, like, this is what I signed up for. And this is what makes me happy. It's a unique shift. I've always liked to, you know, be a leader and interact with people. It's something I'm super passionate about. It's an interesting perspective to look at it, but I believe if I do my job, I can change 7,000 holders' lives. Even some of them may be already financially independent, but that, you know, like I have that ability, and that just makes me so happy. Like, if I do what I need to do, if I critically think, if I champion, if I galvanize, if I, you know, do all the things that I know that make NFT projects succeed, I will ultimately impact all of my holders in an amazing way. And that's a driving factor for me. Now, this business has a lot of moving parts, especially, you know, there's a whole Web 2 business to Pudgy Penguins. That's its own beast and behemoth. And it's a lot to manage, but I'm only here, and Pudgy Penguins is only here because of the team. Like, in the beginning, it was really hard. I was micromanaging. I've evolved as an entrepreneur in ways that, you know, if I lost all of my money and, you know, everything went to nothing, I would be so thankful for this experience. Because of how I've evolved as an entrepreneur. But I was micromanaging. I was in playing, you know, too many cooks in too many kitchens. And over the last 6 months, I've just completely trusted my team. And that has allowed me to be more involved with the community to the best of my ability. And so there's definitely a fine balance. You don't want to do, there is such thing as too much of it. Because at some point you have to do critical thinking, you have to be thoughtful, right? And you know, being in Twitter spaces all day, every day is not going to move the business forward. But there's a balance, and I think I found that balance. I think Ray's found that balance. I think Frank's found that balance. There's a couple of us that I think have really found that balance. And it's boded well for the people who believe in us and the people who are our holders.
I think Ray found the balance by adding his kid into his Twitter experience as well.
We saw a lot of his kids.
Luca, you only have a girlfriend, right? Or maybe one girlfriend, right? I have a wife and a kid. Right? Imagine how, I don't know, you say the balance, right? I would say that it's more like imbalance for me. Yeah, but I totally echo what you said, right? I think at the end of the day, showing up is very important. Right? It's like a necessary condition, right? But it's not a sufficient condition, because I think everyone can show up, and tons of Twitter space hosts, right? And tons of people writing threads on Twitter and stuff like that. Right? At the end of the day, I think you need some long-term strategies, right? You need to know what you want to do, but at the same time, short-term, you also need to be flexible and agile enough to adapt to the market, to continue to grab the attention of the market. Right? I think going to spaces is more like a short-term thing, right? And I feel like there are so many things, so many ways that we can try to communicate our vision better. Right? I think Web3 is the best industry that I have ever been in to do that, right? Because I think as one of the, Luca, I don't know whether Casey and Karen knows, right? Luca also has a YouTube series called Building in Public, right? Something like that, the name, right? It's like, it kind of like shows that, okay, on one hand, you have to build behind the scene. On the other hand, you also have to build in the public, right? The communication, everything that you do, it will affect the price, and it will affect the holders, right? And the holders will also give you feedback all the time, 24/7, right? That's why I just tweeted a few days ago, some of our holders, right, are annoying as fuck, right? I think that's like totally true. I'm not trying to be funny, right? It's actually just an honest opinion. But the thing is, you can get a really, really fast feedback loop via this kind of setting. And this is the exciting part. For us, because of Nightgate, right, we've been in community-based business for like 15 years. So I feel like, okay, shit, this is like the dream setting that we want to have. First of all, you get money first. Second of all, you don't have to deal with advertisers. You only have one boss, which is your holders. So I feel like there are many challenges in Web3 right now, but there are also a lot of advantages and also a lot of opportunities as well. Yeah.
Yeah. I want to ask Luca a question about like going into like seeing all these content that you guys created is all about like mental health and community and fun. Like you just talked about how important that community is all about. Like what's that thinking behind like having like a mental health like topic behind all these content, and what's that creation process like for you guys?
Well, the initial thought was when we first came up with the strategy, basically day one, when we took over Pudgy Penguins, we thought to ourselves, NFTs, and I've traded NFTs many hundreds, if not thousands of hours at this point. That I think was the best experience I got. All of the experience I have, the best experience I have for where I am today running Pudgy Penguins has been the fact that I've spent millions of dollars and made millions of dollars trading NFTs or just trading NFTs in general, regardless of the money that I made, because I understand the end consumer. The initial thought process was, trading NFTs the way that I was doing it was really tough on my mental health. It like staring at the screen all the time. I was like, oh shit, there needs to be like a light. And I was like, well, Pudgy Penguin, whenever I looked at my Pudgy Penguin, like one of the things that drove me to buying Pudgy Penguins was the emotion that I felt when I looked at my Pengu. I just naturally felt a little more happy and I smiled, and it just gave me a positive emotion when I looked at my Pudgy Pengu. And so I was like, well, I got to lean into that because there's clearly an emotion that makes me feel a certain way. And I've got to double down on that emotion because I think it's a powerful emotion. Ultimately, where I think it's evolved to, and really my thesis on it now, is just as much that. But, I believe if you support other people, they'll support you. And every single day I make content that makes you smile, makes you happy, makes you feel good, or makes you feel better. And that is a good culture to build a user base around. And you get enough people that appreciate that support, they ultimately will support you. Like being number one on Amazon for toys is no easy feat. And, I think ultimately part of that has been the fact that I've just given nonstop to this community, whether that's through value and what I do for the NFT or what I do for, their friends or their family through social media. Ultimately that is the driver to success. And I believe if, that moment comes where we have tens of millions of people who are familiar with the Pudgy Penguin brand, who follow us, who engage in our content, a brand that supports you and goes out of its way to make you feel better, you ultimately will support down the line. And so I think from the NFT side, it's just like, dude, this can get really depressing and can get really toxic really quick. And from a Web2 side is, hey, I'm supporting you, you'll support me eventually.
Yeah. Someone just commented, CW said, just grab one Pudgy Penguins. So the toy business, I mean, it's like about, the IP future. Like, how do you see the IP future of NFT, both of you guys?
Yeah.
Is it toys? Is it games? Is it cartoons? Yeah.
I think it's everything. When we label ourselves an IP company, I really did it because it didn't box me in anywhere. Right. And so like I could have been like, hey, we're a gaming company or we're a toy company, but we're not that. We're an IP company. And if you look at an IP encompasses all of those things. An IP company is a gaming company. It is a toy company. It's all of the above.
Yeah.
But for me, the influence of the character is at the top of our focus. Like, me making a game or me making toys, none of that matters if nobody knows about the character. And so my priority is making the character influential, making the Pudgy Penguin a globally recognized character and IP. And then everything else I think is a supporting variable to that cause. And so that's kind of how we're looking at it. I think for me, I want Pudgy Penguins, and kind of where I think we fit in and the niche that I kind of want to dominate within the NFT space is, first and foremost, I want to be Web3's leading IP business, but I really want to be the NFT that gets the family together. Like I want to be the NFT that if like you have a son or a daughter, like this is how you get them involved. Like this is how you get the entire family, sitting at a dinner table discussing, because, the IP warrants that type of behavior and warrants that type of connection. There's nothing, controversial about Pudgy Penguins. There's nothing, no trait that is, doesn't matter your gender or, your ethnicity. Like everyone gets a Pudgy Penguin. get what it is, you understand it. And that's where I believe our value proposition and our edge is we can be that character for everyone. And we ultimately want to be the character that bring families into Web3. And I think that's really important.
That's like a Papa Penguin, Mama Penguin, and Baby Penguin in the data table. What do you think, Ray?
When you buy the toy, you're actually going to mint an NFT. Like, this is the Trojan horse story everybody's talking about, right? You buy one of these figures, you're going to go on with your kid and buy, and they have different traits and things, just like an NFT. But this is a sneaky way of getting in there. Like, that's a genius concept. Was that always in the cards at the beginning when you're developing these toys?
It was definitely not in the cards. What we basically, how that came to be was we were making toys. I knew I needed to make toys because I wanted to make real money. I was just like, I can't control NFT revenue. And I bought the thing with 3 collections, so I'm not going to start minting more collections. I have 3 already. So like, there's something about supply and demand and digital scarcity that I have to be conscious of, and I can't be a fool. And so the thesis was like, okay, make toys to create attachment, to do something different, make real money. And then ultimately I thought to myself, well, okay, what's the hook? So every business that I've been a part of has had like a real hook, a real value proposition, Gel Blaster, Nerf Killer, right? Like, the list is endless. And I was like, well, just toys and just cute penguins, I got to make something more. I've got to do something more. And then, a couple of weeks of critical thinking, Lorenzo, Vedant, and myself kind of went back and forth. We ultimately thought, well, we're bringing the story of NFTs to the world because every toy that you see is licensed from the community, and that's very in the ethos of Web3. We're bringing NFT IP to the real world because, they're exact copies of Pudgy Penguins, basically brought in, through alchemy, our version of alchemy, brought to the real world, into the physical. But how do we bring NFT technology into the hands of everybody? And so I thought to myself, well, every toy comes with a birth certificate, and, we put a QR code on there, and that QR code leads you to, your first ever digital collectible that you basically get for free. And it evolved into something, a lot bigger that we didn't really anticipate we'd commit to early on. But it ultimately, to me, tells the ultimate story. Like, for $20, you can give a toy to somebody, and if they follow the instructions and spend 5 minutes of their time going through the flow and the process, they will have made a blockchain wallet, minted their first digital collectible, which is soul bound, right? So no real scamming issues or any of the above. And then they have, their first ever character that ultimately gets them excited about NFTs. Like, oh, I just bought this $20 toy, and this value proposition is just better. And so I actually believe what we did with the toys is going to be adopted by Roblox and the Fortnites of the world, because when you think about it, like, some of the stories that we're already seeing is for a $20 purchase of a toy, you scan this QR code, you do it, you unlock your traits, you rip it like a sports pack. It's pretty fun. And you have the potential to sell those traits and make a profit on the physical toy that you just bought. Like, that's only possible with NFTs. Like, that's not possible. That doesn't exist right now. Right. And it's pretty obvious. Like, it just seems like common sense. But the best things in life are common sense. Right. And so,
that's not true. I mean, you have a lot of creativity. I mean, you're competing with Topps, Mattel, Hasbro. They never thought of, they release NFTs with their action figures and stuff, but they didn't have any, creativity behind it. It's like, here's an NFT, put it in your wallet and whatever, shut up. Right. So I would definitely not be too about that. But before we go to Ray on that question, just anybody who wants to buy this Pudgy Penguin, I went to Amazon today just to double check. I bought some when you launched it. I got mine towards June. Then now that the next date of release for Amazon's July the 1st. That's a long time from now. They ran out of inventory already, and you have to fulfill their stock. Is that what's going on?
Yeah, FBA is just a weird system. So the inventory exists, but for them to actually, it takes like a 2-week process for them to stock it in their warehouse and do the whole process. And so they'll let you still buy it because they know it's there, but it still has to go through the Amazon pipeline. And then it just kind of just sets even further the delivery date. And so
makes sense. Okay. So Ray, the question is, when potatoes toys, toys.
What do you think about the IP?
Those things.
For that part, I have to work with Luca. Yeah, but to be honest, right, when I listen to what Luca just mentioned, right, I just feel like we're so wrong. so wrong in the sense that we're doing the wrong business, right? When Luca,
Wait,
a
what?
20-year-old guy, 20-ish year old guy, right? Talk about family, right? Talk about children toys, right? And for me, talk about social media and shit posts on social media and hang out on Discord every day. It feels like I should be the CEO of Pudgy Penguin and Lucas should be the CEO of Memeland, right? But the thing is,
Let's
somehow I
switch.
think, pardon?
Let's
Yeah.
switch.
Yeah. Maybe we should switch our job for like 1 week, right? And then
Yeah.
to see whether we
Yeah.
can
Exchange.
come each other's
And
faults.
build him
Yeah.
up and film that and see what happens.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But the thing is, I feel like I echo a lot of what Luca just mentioned, right? I think at the end of the day, we need to play with our strength, right? Luca's background is more on e-commerce, right? He has helped launch a lot of successful toys before and invested in a lot of consumer-facing product before. He knows e-commerce, right? If you search Luca's name, right, you can see that, okay, people name him like King of Shopify or King of e-commerce and stuff like that, right? So I feel like NFT itself is a great tool, right? But it's almost like we are cooking, right? Yeah, I see a lot of Pudgy Penguin memes. It's like, let him cook, right? It's like NFT itself is like a good ingredient, right? But what kind of meal that you're cooking?
Yeah.
That's actually depending on the cook, right? For Luca, he cooks it like a family meal. For us, I don't know, we make it like a snacks or something, right? Yeah, but at the end of the day, it's more about how we can leverage our strength and also make the blockchain tag, not great again, but actually make it like usable, right, the first time. Because at the end of the day, I think blockchain itself is like a very technical topic, right? But the thing is, for most human beings, they don't give a fuck about the tech, right? They give a fuck about how do I make money, right? How do I use it? How does it solve my problem? That's why you see that the reason wave about the AI and stuff, because people can easily see the usage of AI, right? And they don't have to pay most of the time. Right? Meanwhile, for NFT, people focus a lot on the money. But if you actually buy NFT, you understand that, okay, there is a lot of emotion. There's a lot of community. Right? And that's why I feel like NFT itself is a really, really great tool to introduce a blockchain tag to the millions or if not billions of people. Right? But the thing is, right now, the pricing, the entry, right, of NFT is so high, so expensive, right? Out of NFT, I almost never bought anything. There's like over $1,000, right, for goods, right? Yeah, so I feel like the future of NFT is still very, very bullish, right? But the price point, the way that you sell an NFT, probably it has to change, right? So I feel like that's the part that Luca has done right, and that's also the part that we are trying to learn as well. But for me, our background is for social media. That's why I kind of hate to do physical stuff, right? Not exercise and stuff, but
That's
more
your
like
fear.
offline stuff, right?
Yeah.
Because I feel like, okay, we're based in Hong Kong. Our audience is like global, right? It's a pain in the ass to deal with all the logistics and stuff, right? That's why I always feel like, okay, if we sell stuff, we should sell it digitally, right? Instead of doing physical stuff. But at the end of the day, I think both ways can work, right? As long as you know what to do, right? So I feel like we can. There are many ways to win, and Lucas' way and our way probably is different. But down the road, maybe there will be collaboration and there will be crossover and stuff like that. So yeah, super excited. Yeah.
Great. Karen, go ahead.
As a project owner, like you guys talked about a lot about your team and how your team is supporting you and how that positivity is like transcendent to like your whole team. And like as a project owner and builder, what's it like hiring in the Web3 space right now for you? Like any specific requirements that you guys are looking for? Because we're now doing like the CEO versus CEO. So I just want to hear like two different companies. Like how do you see this topic?
Yeah, and Luca, we met your head of growth, Austin. He came to Hong Kong. Ray and I met him in Hong Kong at FOMO Asia. He came out and did that. So he was talking about how he worked with you in the past. So I guess you recruited some of your old team to come back and help you with this as well.
Yeah, a lot of the core unit is people I've worked with in the past. I just knew that coming into this. I was like, okay, I'm not going to come in with my head cut off. I've got to, have a good flow with a certain group. But like our whole engineering team, our whole dev team is from the community, right? And so like there's obviously like my social media guys, my brand builder guys. I'm taking those with me into the Web3 world. But dev team, community team, community, right? And so there's a really good balance. And I think the beauty about what I found from hiring from Web3 and hiring from the community in specific is they almost have like an options package already there, right? And like they're just so much more passionate and care so much. And what you'll find with hiring, I think, is actually the hardest part about being an entrepreneur is building the right team. Is people really not just clocking in and clocking out. I hate clocking in and clocking out. I can't stand it. Like, you got to get out of here. Like, I want people who really give a shit. And I found that people from the community really give a shit. And I think that's important. And I also think hiring for Web3 is not an easy hire to make. There's a whole learning curve that I found, taking people outside of Web3 in. It takes them like 3 to 6 months to really get it, like to really get it. And this is a fast moving space. Certain parts of the business, I can't wait 3 to 6 months for you to get it. I just need you to get it. And so there's this balance. There's very much really, two businesses within two real units. I have like my SEAL Team 6 Web3 unit, and then I have my like business company unit, right? And so, me and SEAL Team 6, we handle Web3. We kind of like just push the Web3 forward. And then I think the other side of the business is like, okay, I don't need you to understand Web3. I need you to learn it, and you can learn it, but I need you to, manage Comic-Con and Licensing Expo and logistics and inventory and growing on social media, making sure our Instagram is growing and our TikTok and all of these things. And so it's really just about how you segment and how you organize. The biggest change for Pudgy Penguins in the last 6 months has been our org structure. It was breaking for the first 5-6 months. It was hard. We hadn't really aligned ourselves like a proper org, and now I feel like we're finally catching our groove where everyone knows their role, everyone knows their place. But Web3 is not an easy place to hire, and I suggest if you're hiring for Web3, try to go to your existing community to the best of your ability. You'd probably be better off that way.
Yeah. What about you, Ray? Are you going to comment on my work performance?
Yeah, you're okay. Yeah, acceptable.
Thank God.
Yeah. No, the thing is, I think the speed in Web3, at least on the communication part, is much faster. Right? And when money is involved, people have their high expectation. I would say unreasonable expectation. Right? So somehow, how can you manage that and communicate your vision, right? I think that part you need some team members, maybe the CEO, maybe the founder, right? Maybe the head of communication, right? To actively involve with the community, right? So that they know that you are there. Because at the end of the day, they put thousands of dollars on the line, right? But at the same time, you also need a team that actually building stuff, and building takes time, right? Even if you cook, right? You need to take time to cook, right? But to be honest, when you serve the dish, it only takes like 5 seconds, right? And people kind of forget how real life works because everything seems like, 5x profit, 10x profit, 100x profit in 1 week, right? So I feel like how we can communicate the vision, right? What we are building, right? At the same time, we also have to have a team continue to build, right? I think that part is very, very important. But coming from a Web2 background, right? I feel like not everyone is suitable for Web3. It's not because it's hard to learn. It's more about the mentality, right? Because Web3 changes so quickly, right? I still remember, right? The moment that we launched potatoes, that was like June last year. Right? Goblin Town was just launched, and it was like 9 floor price and stuff like that, right? And people keep saying that, okay, free mint is a new meta, right? Free mint is the way. Yeah, because, okay, we can just apply what a freemium app does in App Store, and then we can rely on royalty, right? And then a few months later, royalty is totally fucked, thanks to Burr, thanks to all the new innovation in the space, right? But the thing is, if you are very fixated on a certain way, then you probably feel like, okay, this is like hopeless, right? But if we need to actually continue to learn from the space, from our community, then you can actually feel like, okay, there are actually still very interesting opportunities, right? But there are a few fundamentals that we have to figure out. Number one, we can't give up that easily, right? Number two, ideally, if you can, right, you get more resources first so that you can survive the winter, right?
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, you still have to deliver, right? And ideally, you can always have a very clear vision in mind so that the team knows what to do, right? They only change the how, right? They don't change the why, right? For the holders, right? They also have a reason to hold for the longer time. And the more people believe in your vision, right? And believe that you will become number one or at least top in that category, then short time fluctuation on the floor price doesn't really matter. Right? For example, like Pudgy Penguins, right? Is an IP company, right? They are making toys. They want to bring in revenue from Web2. For us, we focus on social fi, right? Because we understand how inefficient of the current Web2 social media, right? So I think for this kind of stuff, people will believe that, or at least our holders, right? Not people, our holders. Some of them believe that, okay, we can actually become number one or the game changer, right? In Web3 in this category, then there's a reason for them to hold, even though the price continues to fluctuate, even though there will be all kind of FUD or all kind of challenges coming in the future. So I feel like it's almost like fast and slow at the same time.
Right.
Yeah.
Great, cool. Okay, I'm going to get into fundraising next. But before I do that, I want to play this video. But also, I forgot to mention at the top that we're streaming on YouTube as well. So if you wanted to see us live, you can. Is an epic commercial there for a Sotheby's auction, Luca. Can you just quickly talk a little bit about that?
Dude, I've got the most badass creative team. What can I do? I don't even see these things. I just let them do it. You know, I'm just like, you know, Peter specifically. I don't succeed in life without knowing Peter. My path isn't this way. So I was always marketing. I know how to make things go viral. I know how to get the attention. I know how, to get all the eyeballs if I want to go in my direction. Right. And the thing is with marketing, creative and marketing are hand in hand. Right. Like without good creative, the eyeballs doesn't matter. It doesn't have any emotional stick and impact. And so we have a thing called the dynamic duo. And every business that I've been a part of, I've always either retained Peter or, because he has an agency that does this at a very high level, or he's been a partner and an equity partner in the business. And so when I see stuff like that, for me, I'm all about working smarter. I'm not as of recently, this has changed. I'm now the 15-hour work guy. But in the past, in my previous businesses, I've always put people who do amazing things. And I've always just been that interconnecting link. And I've just been the guy just connecting everyone to make awesome things happen. And so, when I see stuff like that, I smile. I
you too. It's amazing. Yeah.
Ray, you're like the king of memes. And so when I'm watching that commercial, I'm just looking at Ray and I'm thinking to myself, and I'm just like, what's going through his head? Because only the funniest things in the world are probably going through his head.
He's got a poker face.
Yeah, he's got a poker face, and it's just awesome to see. But I get too much credit in this, in all of this. There's just too many badass people on our team doing awesome stuff. And I guess I get the credit because I'm the face of it. But, to be frank, things like that, I don't even see it until it's done. Maybe I do an hour or two of ideation and feedbacking on what I think, but it's all Peter on that.
Ray?
Yeah, well, I think honestly, I feel like this is pretty good, right? This is like professional level kind of commercial, right? I've seen ads from Hasbro or Bandai, right? That did worse ad before, right? So I'm not saying that this is like bad and stuff, right? But I just feel like, shit, this is like professional, right? And there are not that many teams that are run professionally, right, in Web3. That's why I always kind of like joke that okay, we are the standard is really low, right? The bar is really low. It's not that Memeland is good, right? It's basically many art projects are so bad, right? And
I
then
agree
we
with
just
this.
Whoa.
we just have to survive, and then we just have to do the things that normal people, normal entrepreneur would do. Then we are gonna be okay, right? I don't know whether we are gonna win it, right? But we are gonna be okay. Right? I'm not popping the okay bear. Right? I'm also a holder, by the way. Yeah. But the thing is, I think it's so interesting when you see how an experienced entrepreneur can turn Web3 into something much bigger, right? Than just selling JPEGs, right? And I believe that that's why there are not that many teams that are winning or thriving right now. It's because bear market is the best challenge, right, for all the entrepreneurs, right? It's just like Warren Buffett said, right? When the tie is gone, right, then you know who is like not wearing pants, right? And I feel like Lucas definitely is wearing very, very thick pants, yeah, and very, very big pants, right? I think that's why I'm an holder, right? That's why I love to follow Luca and what he says, what he thinks. Right? And I saw that he's sharing on VCon, talk about how he thinks about community and IP and stuff. Right? That's like a very inspiring talk. Right? And I think that maybe in the space right now, there are just like a handful of people who understand how to build an IP, how to make toys, how to make physical or digital, right? Whatever it names, right? Stuff. Right? And I feel like definitely Luca and also Pudgy Penguin is one of the very few brands and people actually knows how to do it. Yeah.
And thank you for the kind words, Ray. And I feel the same about you guys. And I want to double down on this point because it is so true. The bar is just is incredibly low. I've never seen anything like it, truly. I mean, to think, projects should be looking at this and like these guys, and Ray and I specifically, I think this really reigns true for Ray and I more so than most, that I think like these guys had first mover advantages and treasure chests that are like the GDPs of like small countries. And what the heck are you doing? I mean, and not only like the raises from community, royalties. I mean, bull market royalties are just guys were making 200, 300, 400, 500 ETH a day. Unbelievable amounts of money, and huge raises from venture at monster valuations. And what in the world? I mean, I don't know how some of these people on these boards haven't just completely gutted the whole thing and said new people in, because it's, and I say this in the kindest way possible, but some of it is shameful. I mean, some of it is truly shameful. I mean, what's going on?
You're too young to remember the .com era, though.
Yeah, but I don't remember. I was a toddler. I was, I don't remember anything in that time. So for me, I'm like,
no references.
I'm like, what's going on? It doesn't make any sense. And I just wanted to double down on that point because it's really true. And Ray's new. Ray just came in here. He observed. He like stalked in the forest under the trees and in the tall grass. And he said, "I'm coming in. I'm 9gag, baby. I'm the man." Yeah. And he just came in and showed out. And like that's the crazy part about this. That's the part that's really shocking. It's just like how much people have and how little they've done. And you just come in and show. And I think what Ray and I are doing are going to put all of the real Web 2 builders on notice. One of the reasons why I wanted to come into this is because, regardless of what you think I do or how you think I do it, remove all your opinions. What we've shown at Pudgy Penguins is exciting a lot of entrepreneurs. And what Ray is doing is exciting a lot of entrepreneurs. People who really do this, who really know Ray, who really know me and what we've done. And that's only a net positive for the space. Like you can only support that. Like regardless of what you think an announcement or what utilities or whatever your contrarian take on either of our projects are, it doesn't really matter, because like what we've done and what we're doing is only a huge net positive for the space because it's bringing in the real builders. I know my network. I've got an amazing network of entrepreneurs that are all like, dude, I got to get into this space. And I can only imagine Ray's network. Ray's network is probably 10 times mine. And everybody's watching. And this is, I think, going to be the transition. It needs to go from, people with, an idea to launching a project to like people coming in and saying, hey, I can build a business better and faster. What I want to do at Pudgy Penguins is I want to show that Web3 is a tool to build at a higher velocity. Like that's what NFTs to me are. It's a mechanism to accelerate 10 years. What would usually take you 10 years would take me, 12 months. We just secured Comic-Con earlier today. Comic-Con's got a 10-year wait list. How'd I do that? Don't ask me.
Yes.
But Comic-Con, San Diego Comic-Con is a 10-year wait list. I just got in. And so that's the difference, right?
That's amazing. That's amazing. Seriously.
Yeah,
Right.
I think Luca, right, shows that there is hope, right, in youngsters, right, in young entrepreneur, right. Of course, right, Luca and Frank, right, they are I would say the new breed of entrepreneurs. I wouldn't say Web3 native, right? That sounds so stupid, right?
Yeah.
Nothing is really native in Web3
Right.
because everything is kind of like done in Web2 before, but add a token, right, add NFT to it.
Yeah.
But for me, I kind of show that, okay, old people can still do it, right? Because the bar is so low. Right?
You represent the old generation.
I'm like the encouragement for the old generation.
The
right?
Web2 generation.
Yeah, it's almost like, oh, if I can do it, right, then anyone can do it, right? Because not to mention, I just feel like and also, right, Memeland was launched when my son was born, right? So I just feel like, okay, if I could do that, then why can't you do it, right? It's almost like, I remember when I was young, there was a cooking show called Yan Can Cook, right? It's almost like, okay, I forget the slogan. Basically,
Luca probably not knowing what we're talking about.
So can you, right? That's his slogan.
Yeah. That's the thing, right? And I just feel like this is exciting time, right? Because as Luca mentioned, you almost like you can fast track everything in Web3. Of course, the challenge is also kind of like I would say combined it, right? But the thing is, that's the exciting part, right? Because for entrepreneur, you probably want to see results faster, right? You want to see solutions and fix problems faster. And Web3 kind of allow you the platform, the tools to do that. And your community is kind of like high expectation Asian fathers, right? They keep pushing you when review, when launch, right? When the next big thing. And you don't need a board of directors to push you to do that. And those are the things that actually excite me as an entrepreneur, because it's almost like, okay, Web2 is like a very slow game, right? It's almost like fishing, right? Not to say that fishing is bad, right? But the speed is very different, right? For Web3, it's almost, I don't know, car racing and stuff, right? So I just feel like so exciting in the space, and there are so many things that if you can cook, so can you. Yeah, exactly. Right. I think there are so many things that we can still do. Right. And to be honest, when people kind of like leaving the space right now, that makes our chance of winning even bigger. Right? Look at Amazon, look at Google. Right. They all kind of like launch right before, after the .com boom. Right before. And I'm not saying that we can be the next Google or Facebook, but I just feel like, okay, we should be able to build something here. Yeah.
That's great. Hey, Luca, I just realized we've gone over an hour. How's your time?
I'm good. I got another 10 minutes. It's a little late, but I got 10 more minutes for you.
Okay, great.
Okay, so we want to talk a little bit about the fundraising part now. I think this is what a lot of people are excited about. We launched a show. That was one of the big news things that hit, was that you raised $9 million for the Pudgy Penguins in a bear market from some notable investors. How important is raising that kind of capital now to grow, to grow the vision? Like you said, you don't want to release some more NFTs, and now you're working on this. So there's obviously a big scale plan. And of course, showing this beautiful animations and all the toys now, I'm sure a lot of people can see the vision more clearly beyond just JPEGs. But talk a little bit about raising the funding in this time, and then what you think it will be used for going over the next, say, 12, 24 months.
Yeah, I think for us, again, like, what we got when we bought Pudgy Penguins is 3 NFT collections. And, we bought it in April of last year, and it was down only. Like the day we bought it was literally just down only. And we got hit with every black swan you possibly could. And, the core 10 people on this team weren't getting paid any money. Like there was no money, and we were thankful and blessed enough to be in a situation where we didn't need to get paid. But at a certain point, it starts to bother you. It's just human nature. Like, hey, like I'm paying for my mortgage and my food, and it's, you can only work so long for free. And so just the tides were like, and I felt like we had done such a good job, and the trend was in our favor and the momentum was in our favor. And I was just looking at everyone raising 40, 50, 60, $100 million. And I was just like, dude, I need to even the playing field, right? And so I'm competitive by nature. I think, when I'm in the space, I want to be number one. I want to, have the highest market cap and the highest floor price. And I think that's natural. And I know Ray feels the same. And when I'm just looking at the landscape and I'm thinking to myself, well, we clearly show competency just as well as, or if not better than anyone else. We clearly have a vision that's just as good, if not better than anyone else. And the only discrepancy and the only excuse that we had throughout this whole journey was we don't have any money. And I was tired of hearing that excuse. Like, I was just sick and tired of it. And ultimately it came to the conclusion where I was either going to raise for my community and launch more NFTs, which right now the market and the supply and demand and the digital ecosystem of Pudgy Penguins does not warrant more NFTs. Or I was going to go figure it out and do it myself. Well, we bought the project for $2.5 million, and I actually put another $500,000 into the business. So we're really $3 million into this. There's only so much money I can pour into this thing. And I felt like we earned the right to go raise capital from venture. I think we've proven ourselves when we had a vision and a thesis. And as long as it didn't give up control. And so we raised via SAFE. So nobody's really on our cap table. Nobody's on our board. That SAFE only converts if we raise a Series A or if, we sell the business. And so nobody's over my shoulder telling me what to do. No one's, I have help. I listen. Obviously, I'm in Telegram chats with our investors and they tell me, some good advice. But other than that, nothing has changed in the business other than the fact that I have $10.5 million in the bank account now versus 1.5. And that is a positive. That means I can execute and take risks, more risks than I could have in the past. I can build more awesome products, up the quality on our animations, actually spend marketing dollars, right? Build the team, hire talent. What I've really learned throughout this whole process is your team is everything. I mean, it is to bare and bones, everything to success in building a company. And top tier talent costs top tier dollars. They just do. My biggest lesson that I learned in 2019, I actually had a failed business. Me and Peter had a failed little side business. And what we kind of realized in that company was I was expecting high level output while giving low level pay. That was what failed. That we looked back and we said, why did we fail? Because I had 15 people running around all getting paid $5 to $6 grand a month. And I was expecting them to do 200 grand a year, outputs when they were getting paid 60 grand a year. And I was starting to see the writing on the wall. There was only so much you could do with with what we had that, I had to raise money if I want to win. And so that was the solution. I tried to pick the best investors I could that I knew had good intentions. Again, it's a very, insidious space, I think is the right word. You don't know who's, throwing what people's motives are. And so I spoke to 300 VCs. I felt like I picked the ones that I think were, most aligned with our vision and our ethos. And I did the deal under terms that, if you listen to what I just said, then there's really no negatives on the deal just yet until maybe I sell too much of the business, but that would never happen. I'm very conscious of where we're going and how to structure this for the best interest of our holders. And that's what I felt would benefit the company and benefit our holders the best, was raising this money.
Amazing. Ray, I'm going to ask you, do you have a last question for Luca before we let him go? I know you had some questions before you took over the whole time.
Yeah, I was gonna make a joke, but no. But I think it's amazing, right? I think at the end of the day, there are so many different ways to win, right? Web3 is like a very broad term. It's just like a category, right? And NFT or crypto is just the tech, right? And how can we apply this tech into different parts of our life, in people's life? I think that will make a huge difference, right? Whether you make toys, whether you make family-friendly IP, whether you raise funding, right, or you just raise from community, I think they both work, right? And I feel like you need to find the way that maximize your chance to win, right? I'm not trying to become number one. For me, it's more like, okay, I want to do something that I haven't done before. I want to maximize, right, the result that our team has put in the effort, right? And also we want to become like the best version of ourselves. I mean, we launched NIGET 15 years ago, and then we kind of like missed the train, right? When social media kind of like exploded, right? But for Web3, luckily, these times we are kind of early, right? And there are so many things that we can do, and that's why it's very exciting, interesting to talk to more entrepreneurs, right? New and old, right? Like Luca,
Yeah.
right? So that on one hand we can learn from them. On the other hand, we can also share our experience, right? Because I think one thing that I find it very, very funny is how come so many Web3 founders, they don't even buy NFTs, right? and so many so-called big corps people, when they want to launch a Web3 department, right? Even the head doesn't buy NFT,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
How can you learn to play basketball when
Crazy.
you're only
Yeah.
sitting at the court side, right?
Yeah,
So
right.
so I
Yeah.
feel like the bar is so low, the opportunity is so huge, and I'm so grateful that to have like Luca and also Frank and also all other entrepreneurs, right? I mean, referee needs some hero figures, right? People love hero figures, right? But I understand that Luca is the face. I'm kind of like the ugly face, but somehow there are more people at work at the back,
Yeah.
right?
Oh
And
my
those are
God.
the things that why I feel bullish about Web3. Yeah.
Awesome.
Wow.
Awesome. Okay, we're gonna
This
let
is so amazing.
Oh, it's amazing. Thank you so much, Luca, for your time. It's been amazing having you here. I hope you had a good time on the GM show.
Oh, you guys are phenomenal hosts. Karen, you're awesome. Casey,
Thank
you're
you.
you're a great host. You have that voice. And I just wanted to say, you know, Ray, there isn't three founders I respect more in this space. I've been a huge fan long before you even knew I existed. And when I was a little tadpole going through puberty, I knew about 9gag and I have
Amazing.
I have some Instagram pages for sale, Ray. So maybe you can take those off my
Oh
plate.
dear. Talk to
I
me.
know you actually. People don't know, but I got so much respect for what you guys are doing at Memeland. I actually need to increase my Memeland bag, so you can give me some little meme multiplier. Give me a special one. Give me an honorary or something. Right? We'll figure something out. I have so much respect for everyone on this. So thank you for having me. And GM Show is a great show, and I look forward to being on here again sometime.
We'd love to have you. Thank you so much, Luca.
Thank you.
Let you go. We'll keep Ray then.
Yes, we'll keep Ray here
Okay,
for our
Ray,
next
sorry.
segment.
That was so good. We didn't want to stop, and I forgot. I wasn't watching the clock. I'm listening to you guys talk.
Yeah.
So amazing. But we do have 2 more segments, and since you're here, you're gonna have to do a lot more work than usual here. So let's get into the next piece. What is going on here, Karen?
It's all about newbies and Web3.
Advice on Web3 with Rich M.
So we did like a live poll with on Twitter, and we asked what advice would you give to people who just started in Web3, and if you have any other good advice, please comment on our tweet. So I want to do like a little thumbs up again. If you're new to Web3, please thumbs up. Okay. No one's new. Well, if you're degen, please thumbs up. Okay, I see some thumbs up. Great. So I have collected some really great advice, and I think like it's good to share with you guys, and also Ray can also share his view on this. So Goldilocks says, keep it real and always stay true to yourself. Always stay positive and advocate positivity online. I think that is great advice. And Slim said, don't trust anything verified. Always zoom out when in doubt. Have complete conviction in your investment. I think that is also amazing because we always said, don't trust verified. Smoky Pipe said, don't ask for financial advice from any stranger. If you really base your investment on a stranger's opinion, then you shouldn't invest at all. 9 out of 10 tries to pump his own bag. Do your own research and don't get misled by FOMO or FUD. I think that is also
That's
amazing.
the basis of this world, though.
That is a lot of advice for Web3 newbie, but Exactly. Don't take advice from like strangers online. Wickedly said turn off DMs in Discord. Second, make a second wallet for minting. Third, don't click links. So
Those are the three best the ones I've heard so far.
oh, this is so good. So we don't want anything bad happen to anybody. So don't invest what you can't afford to lose. What do you think, Ray?
Where are all these smart people that you talk about?
No.
How
Well,
come I
they're
never?
all on our
How come I
comments.
never saw them on our in our Discord? Right? Yeah. No, just kidding, right? But I think at the end of the day, I think these are like pretty great advice, right?
Yeah.
And honestly, if everyone can say that and also can do that, then Web3 will dominate the world, right?
Will
But I
flourish.
believe
Yeah.
that I think we can reach there. It just takes some time, and also from a founder's perspective, right? I think we also cannot just rely on our holders, cannot just rely on our community. We also have to build infrastructure and tools to help them so that they don't even have to think about whether I should trust it or not, right? Because at the end of the day, we are human beings, right? We make mistakes or we slip from time to time, right? So if there's like a safeguard, if there's some good tools, right, then it can help to onboard more people, right? Even if they are more careless, but they still are protected. I think those are the things that those are some good problems to be solved. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very good.
Stay safe, guys.
Stay safe out there. Yeah, I think that's the most important thing. Okay, and then let's wrap this all up. I think we're having a very exciting time. Hopefully everybody enjoyed the episode, but I don't know, I haven't been watching the market in the last hour. I don't know if the CCTV thing is creating more and more excitement, but we know that Bitcoin's gone up and Solana's going crazy. So there's some interest in the background, but don't let that control you. So we're going to exit today's episode with a little bit of meditation. All right, we're going to bring on.
I mean, like, what kind of show does a meditation? I mean, we do that.
We've had too much excitement. We want to calm everybody down for a few minutes before we go back to our day.
Let's close your eyes, relax, take a deep breath. Let's manifest the bull market. It's okay to feel uncertain. It's okay to feel all the feelings you have.
What a weird show, but we want you to close your eyes and don't think about all the stuff and just have a great day.
Forget your loss.
Ray's closing his eyes. That's good. We need to slow down.
Bull market. Too much.
This is getting really weird, but this is how we're gonna end our show.
Yes, everyone slowly open your eyes. Don't look at your phones. Let's set the calendar for next week, Thursday, 9 a.m. for the next GM show where our guest will be Off-Chain Monkey, joining us talking about Bitcoin. I don't know.
So let's wrap up our show. We
Ray,
made it again.
We hope you'll join us again next week.
Thank you, Ray.
Not sponsored by McAfee. Start your good morning with McAfee's coffee. You know what? Perfect for listening to this show. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. I'm also not Steve Carell. I do not endorse this message.
1, 2, 3, 4.
We made it.
GN.
GM. Thank you so much for listening. Bye, guys.
All right, how was that? Oh, are we still live?